What is going on, comic fans? Welcome back to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today I'm here with another DC Absolute video. We've covered a lot of Batman on the channel. Check out those other videos, but the other big hitter that's coming out not long after Batman will be Absolute Wonder Woman. Kelly Thompson, the writer of the upcoming series, has taken to the internet and did a interview recently and revealed a lot of stuff about it. Some of it has fans excited, some of it has fans a little not excited. We're going to get into it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's go. Be sure to check the description for fantastic links to all kinds of resources in the hobby, including big-time collectibles. If you need anything cleaned or pressed, submitted to grading services, Justin's got you covered. And if you need to set up your own pool list because you're excited about comics that are coming out or any tabletop gaming stuff, check out my LCS, ABX Comics and Games. They've got you covered. So there was what was it, like 3-4 days ago at the time of recording this channel called, or the show called The Comic Corner, had Kelly Thompson on. She is the writer of the upcoming Absolute Wonder Woman series. If you don't know, DC Comics is at the tail end of a massive summer event, biggest one they've done in years. And as this ends, we're going to get into the next initiative at DC called All In. All their books across their brand is going to say All In, and it's being used to signify a great jumping on point for new readers or old readers to try out new titles and stuff. But one of the outcomes of this event will be the creation of what's called the Absolute Universe. The easiest way to describe it is it's like the Ultimate Universe over at Marvel, but at DC. And what we're seeing is the first three that are coming out is, in fact, the DC Trinity: Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And Scott Snyder's kind of the architect behind all of this, but he's not writing anything but Batman. Kelly Thompson will be writing Wonder Woman, and she's not a big of a name as Scott Snyder, but she does have an impressive resume with a bunch of books on there, and she's writing a ton of stuff. And this past week in the interview, we've got more details about this upcoming Absolute Wonder Woman than we've had to date. And what's so exciting about it is these takes in the Absolute Universe are supposed to be a massive deviation from what we know and what we're used to. It's not necessarily an Elseworld title because they're somehow connected to the main universe, and details on that are yet to come. But having finally got some information about Wonder Woman, let's start taking a look at some of it and see what you think. It might be something you might be interested in. We got to start with the Absolute Wonder Woman origin. This is your A cover that's going to be done by Hayden Sherman, and they're showcasing this Wonder Woman. This isn't a girl who was raised on Themyscira with warriors on a beautiful paradise with her sisters. And as a slight hint, that doesn't mean that they don't exist. And that doesn't mean that she's not interested in finding them and loving them from afar. So one of the biggest departures from this Wonder Woman is she's being introduced straight up as a witch. Kelly Thompson said that she had a difficulty trying to find what the angle for this Wonder Woman is without losing the core of the character. And when she kind of put down the note that this Wonder Woman should be a witch, it kind of started rolling from there. And the magic will have its limitations, as she talks about later, but she did showcase and make it important that the core of Wonder Woman most definitely remains in this, and the deviation is really helped out by a lot of the stuff that's happened in recent years. And she referenced Daniel Warren Johnson's Wonder Woman Dead Earth miniseries, as well as fans being able to see Wonder Woman as a psychotic vampire in DC versus vampires. It kind of paved the way for these more deviated stories, but keeping the core being the primary importance of it. She also talks about how this Wonder Woman and her suit that you see, which is definitely brings questions, will have been forged in hell, that she was raised in hell. So we're definitely excited to see how they're going to play that out. And one of the most notable things visually with the character is most definitely her sword, or she calls it the Buster Sword, as a lot of fans have called it, Cloud Sword, something about Final Fantasy. And people were asking about the size of the sword and why it's so big, and if it can in fact get bigger or smaller. And she said it can be whatever she wants. I mean, magic has limitations, but we talk about that too. But you know, she's playing with a whole different bag of tricks. And she even revealed in the interview that the sword will be not kept on her back, not kept on her waist, but kept in a literal bag. Like she reaches into this bag of tricks and is able to pull out the sword. Now, the part that really started dividing the fans was the next little bit, where she talks about, let's see how this plays out, guys, kind of reacting to some of the feedback. Because honestly, it's hard for me to believe any diehard Wonder Woman fan wouldn't be into this based sort of like the values and like the clear feminist. And that's the part that really got people. She says it's very organically feminist. I think it just naturally flows with that. And in this current state of things. That's kind of like a trigger word, a hot topic word, but it's important to remember that this character itself was created on those principles, especially for its time. And definitely times have changed, but there's been great interpretations of Wonder Woman that lean into that strong female lead, which fans most definitely like. You know, Grant Morrison did a fantastic Earth One. Tom King is currently killing it over at the main universe. So I'm excited to see how she plays this out. And then another big takeaway from it was definitely her pointing out what really inspired her in this one. And people were asking about the tattoos on her shoulder that look very tribal in nature. And she says those were taken pretty much directly from Wonder Woman Historia, which will just put out a plug for that right now. It's not officially our history, but if you love that book, or if you want to feel the vibe of this book, I think reading the 3 volumes of Historia, you will not regret it. So they're talking about the actual origin that she's kind of building off of, the lore, the mythos. If you missed that, that was a Black Label title. It was actually a prestige format, and it only ran for 3 issues, so it wouldn't take long to dive into that and get into that. But it was a very, very fascinating interview. It was just like a short segment in that interview that they kind of cover this, but there's a lot of details in there. So I'm definitely excited for it. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. I know Batman has got everyone's attention right now, and it's the first one up. But when we get to Wonder Woman, I'm expecting this to really knock it out of the park. And I do like the idea that it will be a standalone title. She was asked about bringing in other familiar characters from the Wonder Woman mythos, such as Donna Troy. And she was kind of telling people, you just need to pause, you need to wait, slow down. Let me introduce you to this Wonder Woman. Let's flesh out this Wonder Woman and let it go where it's going to go. So it kind of like, I mean, obviously there's going to be supporting cast. They've already confirmed like Nightwing and other characters exist in this world over in the Batman comic. And Scott Snyder himself has already confirmed that these books will most certainly stand on their own for the first year. They don't want to go too crazy, too crisscrossy right from the beginning, but we're going to get there. So obviously they're going to start tying them together. I'm excited to see how they play it out. I'm excited to see what's up with this demonic Pegasus looking horse, and hope everybody at least gives it a shot. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the Wonder Woman, the deviation on the character. They got the iconic hits. You know, you got the big chest symbol. You got the massive armor on the arm that has me intrigued, which she states they'll have a story attached to it as well that ties into her time in hell. So there's just really a lot to be excited for. Tons of covers out there. The retailer exclusives are starting to roll out, get announced. So be sure to go look at all of those. There's a lot of options to choose from. You can definitely find one you like. Again, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that join button if you haven't already. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.